Omagyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Dhena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Gaura Nityananda Daya Parama Karuna Pahun Dvijana. The mercy of Shri Gaura and Nityananda from Damali by Srila Lochan Das Thakur. This is a song that Srila Prabhupada sang when he came to the temple in Atlanta, Georgia in 1975. And tears came to his eyes seeing the beauty of Shri Shri Gaura Nitai. And the translation is like this. Lord Nitai and Lord Gaura Chandra are very merciful. They are the essence of all incarnations. The specific significance of these incarnations is that they introduced a process of chanting and dancing that is simply joyful. Table, is that table coming up here? Or is he going to leave it back there? My dear brothers, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm conviction and faith. If one wants to be Krishna conscious by this process, one has to give up his engagement in sense gratification. Become absorbed in worshiping Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda and simply chant Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, without any motive. My dear brothers, just try to examine this. Within the three worlds, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda. Their merciful qualities are so great that upon hearing them, even birds and beasts cry and stones melt. But I, Lochan Das, over here, regret that I am entrapped by sense gratification. I have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, and therefore Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. What did you hear? Just some of the points you heard. Don't read it, just say back what you heard so far.
If you search throughout the three worlds, you can't find anyone more merciful than Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda.
Nice. Did you try that?
Not completely.
That's saying a lot, because there are people that give us a lot of mercy and shelter in this world, but imagine finding one that gives more shelter, unlimitedly more than anyone that we had ever met or we could even imagine. Thank you. What else did you hear from the song? Here, I'll read it again. Lord Nitai and Lord Gaurachandra are very merciful. They're the essence of all incarnations. The specific significance of these incarnations is that they introduced a process of chanting and dancing that is simply joyful. We'll just start there. What did you hear?
That Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda are very merciful.
Yes. Lord Nitai and Lord Gaurachandra are very merciful. They are the essence of all incarnations. The specific significance of these incarnations is that they introduced a process of chanting and dancing that is simply joyful. What other points did you hear?
Dancing and chanting.
What about it?
It's simply joyful.
And there is what about the simply joyful process of chanting and dancing?
Nothing is required. Like in this world, if you want to do anything, probably you need, first thing is money. Like. But here in this chanting and dancing, you don't need anything. Just use.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And this is something Prabhupada mentions in one of his talks. Pass it back. He mentions in one of his talks that he said there's no tax on chanting Hare Krishna. He goes on to mention that there's tax on practically everything else that you do in life, but no tax for chanting Hare Krishna. What else did you hear?
I was just thinking about the process of chanting and dancing. Just by doing this process, one can actually attain self-realization. which is in the other different times they had to undergo so much austerities of like sitting in a posture and then focusing the mind and controlling it. But here it's a simple process of chanting and dancing, and it's too simple. Prabhupada says that it's too simple that one may miss it.
Yeah. Prabhupada noted that there were, pass it back to Kartik Machaji, that there maybe, he noticed that, he said his disciples, he noticed, are collecting many Kartik in the back. Many, Akadashi, I'm sorry. Hey, it's all auspicious. Your presence always reminds me of the auspicious days of the year or month. Go ahead.
They are the essence of all incarnations.
Yeah, what does that mean?
To me, it sounds like all of the incarnations that come, they come for so many different reasons, but Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya are the essence of all of those.
All
so
purpose.
They encompass everything. Yes.
Nice. Yeah, actually, Prabodhananda Saraswati mentions in his Chaitanya Chandamrita, he says, all these other incarnations, once Lord Chaitanya appeared, you can just forget about all the other incarnations. Nothing else matters. It's all, everything's included in Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
When I heard about that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are the essence of all incarnations, of course we are in this movement because of them, and it brings to my memory that Lord Chaitanya is the maintainer of the universe, and this chanting and dancing is what is, and he wants us to join, to help assist him in maintaining the universe, and that's why it's so important, this chanting and dancing, because he has introduced this system and he's maintaining everything. Otherwise, there will be no hope.
Nice point. Sridham, good to see you. Hare Krishna. Okay. David Rata Prabhu. Go ahead.
This idea of chanting and dancing being the means for self-realization. I've observed in the morning program during Tulsi Artik that here in Mayapur there's this one boy that really makes a deliberate effort to dance in every Tulsi Artik.
Is that you?
No. No, there's like a 8-year-old boy.
Oh.
And I mean, he becomes so enthusiastic, and you can tell he's really he's getting a higher taste. And I was just thinking, this process is for everyone. And there's so many accounts of Prabhupada that children are dancing and Prabhupada becomes so happy. And so it's a process for everyone. You don't need any age qualification, social qualification. Anyone can do it.
Thank you. In the song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narada Muni, he speaks about how when the shower of nectarine from the holy name entered the assembly of devotees, the devotees were dancing in ecstasy, even Lord Shiva. And then he said, and those who couldn't dance publicly in their hearts, they were dancing as well. And we can see this, the beat of the madanga and the sound of the holy name, which is ever enchanting. People can't figure out why they're attracted to it. Oftentimes people don't want to be attracted to it. They're trying to walk on by, but they can't. And they get captured by it. And even if they're not dancing publicly in their hearts, they dance. And this is the beginning of their devotional service. Okay, so here's a few more of the translations. My dear brothers, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm conviction and faith. If one wants to be Krishna conscious by this process, one has to give up his engagement in sense gratification. Become absorbed in worshiping Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda and simply chant Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, without any material motive. My dear brothers, just try to examine this. Within the three worlds, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda. Their merciful qualities are so great that upon hearing them, even birds and beasts cry and stones melt. But I, Lochan Das, regret that I am entrapped by sense gratification. I have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, and therefore Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. Just some reflections on what you heard for the last couple of stanzas. What caught your attention? All the way back.
Chanting without any material motive.
What does that mean?
That means chanting sincerely, I think. For me, I catch myself chanting with material motives because I just want to get out of here. So I think I have to be more sincere and want to serve either if I'm here or not, like unconditionally.
Nice. So what if you're not sincere in your chanting? What if you have some material motive in your chanting? Who said?
Chant more.
Chant more. Can you back that up with a verse? Anyone? There is a verse from the Padma Purana that says, Nama parada yuktanam namanyeva harantyagam avishvani prayuktani tamye varta karani cha. That if you're chanting with offenses, then the prescription is to chant without stoppage. Just continue to chant, don't stop. And the logic behind it is that you might accidentally chant in Namabhasa instead of in Namaparada by continuing to chant. And the benefit is so great from chanting even one mantra, one name in Namabhasa, that purifies the chanter so much that he or she will get the wherewithal to then improve the chanting. So chant without stoppage. In fact, that's something, go ahead, Nagar. Please.
Does without stoppage in this context mean also just daily with a prescribed number of rounds, or does it mean incessantly in the conventional sense of the term?
It means as much as you possibly can. And people take it differently. I know a devotee who had some serious problems in Krishna consciousness, was diverted from his vows, and then decided to chant 180 rounds a day, 108 rounds a day, and just continue chanting and chanting and chanting. And this is the process of rectification given for any kind of difficulty in Krishna consciousness. In fact, in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Supadamulam vajata priyasya tyaktanya bhavasa hare priyeshaha vikarma yachchot patitam katanchit tunoti sarvam hridisannivishta. That hridisannivishta, the Lord has entered the heart of the devotee, and therefore, if somehow or other, by chance, the devotee has some slip and commits an offense or does something wrong, then one should go on practicing devotional service without stopping, because the Lord knows the heart of the devotee, and one should know that the devotee is very dear to the Lord, priyeshaha, and therefore the Lord rectifies the person. And that's something that Prabhupada talks about in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita in the verse Shri Prambhavati Dharmatma Shashvash Chantim Nagachati Kaunteya Pratijanihi Nabi Bhaktya Pranashati, which is the verse in which Krishna declares, or tells Arjuna to declare boldly that the devotee is never vanquished. And so he says in the purport, does Srila Prabhupada, that the devotee who first asked the question, how can a pure devotee have a fall down? And then he mentions that if there is some discrepancy, then the prescription is that one should go on chanting without stoppage. So in any case, whether it's every day or whether it's constantly, according to one's capacity, if one goes on chanting, Krishna will help to rectify the devotee. Prabhu.
Maharaj, I had difficulty in understanding the last stanza where Lochandas Thakur is saying that he's so fallen that he's not able to have a taste, and Yamaraj is prohibiting. And we see that as a repeating theme in most of the devotees, even Krishna Raj, Kaviraj Goswami. So they are at such a high level, and obviously they are not faking it. They are not being hypocrites. So how do we understand this mood where they are saying that they are so low, fallen, and all that?
This is one of the 9 symptoms of bhava mentioned by Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami when he starts with Shantir Avyarta Kalatvam Avyakta Manashunyata Ashabandha Samakanta. And he mentions 9 items of the heart that is becoming softened by of what is described by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a sun ray that comes from the internal energy. Chitta Mishranya, the heart becomes soft. And when that happens, then there's the awakening of Dainya. And Dainya means utter humility. So in this section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Mahaprabhu is describing the symptoms of bhava, he says that a devotee who's advancing devotional service is experiencing this dainya as he or she advances, and simultaneously the devotee is becoming more qualified. The devotee is becoming more qualified and accomplished in devotional service. Meanwhile, he or she feels that I'm the most fallen, I'm lowly. And one point is that, hey, Ananta made it. Haribo! Welcome. Any difficulty taken to get to the Dham is austerity well spent and gets counted towards your eternal record of devotional service. So it's not that someone is very fallen, and it's not lack of self-esteem. In lack of self-esteem, when one feels that I'm the worst, I'm the most fallen, because actually one becomes morose and also dysfunctional, that I can't do anything. The lack of self-esteem and the kind of so-called humility that comes from that really is a result of somebody who's eager to be in the center, and then when he or she isn't in the center, becomes disturbed by it. Whereas devotee is realizing his or her smallness in comparison to the Lord, and is seeing his or her bad qualities in comparison to the Lord's. But it's actually paradoxical because the devotee is becoming more qualified. How about this point about even the birds, and the birds will, he says, birds and beasts cry and stones melt. How do you like that? I always find it charming when animals get attracted to the Sankirtan. Of course, I've never seen one cry yet, but we read about it when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes through Jarikanda, and also when the Muslims are supposedly coming into Navadvip to throw Srivas Pandit's house, or at least the Hindus wanted to throw his house in the river, and they called the Muslims to come, and Mahaprabhu said he'll challenge them. He said, you read the Quran, we'll have some animals, and you read your Quran and see if you can have any effect on the animals. And then we will chant Hare Krishna to the animals, and they will begin to cry. You'll see the potency of the holy name. And don't you like it? Isn't it nice when animals come and we sometimes see these Dham dogs. They'll come and they join the kirtan party. It's reminiscent of the pastime with Shivananda Sain, taking the party from Navadvip down to Jagannath Puri, and a dog joins in, and then he takes personal care of the dog all the way there. And we've seen that even today when we pulled up. Some devotees greeted us, and there was a dog there. It was really charming. He was like, hey, welcome. Welcome to the Dham. I felt really touched. So stones melt. So this is an experience that even a stone-hearted, this is in the Bhagavatam, that one's stone-hearted nature should change by the association of devotees. And actually there should be some feeling of emotion, which isn't to be imitated, but it's a sign that one's advancing in devotional service if the heart melts by hearing the holy names or hearing Krishna Katha. Parama Karuna Pahun Dvijana Nitai Gaura Chandra Undvi Parama Karuna Pahundvijana Nitai Gaura Chandra Sabhavata Sharashiramani Kevala Kanda Sabhavata Sarashiramani Kevala Ananda Kanda Bhajo Bhajo Bai Chaitanya Nitai Sudradha Vishwasa Kori Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudrita Vishwasa Kori Vishaya Chadiya Shera Se Majia Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari Vishaya Chadiya Shera Se Majia Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari Dheko Ore Bai Trubhuvane Nai Hemona Doyala Tata Dheko Ore Bhai Tribhuvane Nai Emona Doyala Data Pashupaki Jhure Pashana Vidhare Shune Jar Guna Katha Pashupakhi jure Pashana vidare Shune jar guna Katha Sangsare majia rohili poria separe nahi lo asha Sangsare majia rohili poria separe nahi lo asha Apana karama bunjaye shamana karoyo lochana dasa Apana karama banjai shamana kai lochana dasa Parama karuna pahundvi jana Nitai Gaura Chandra Nitai Gaura Chandra Nitai Gaura Chandra Nitai Gaura Chandra Gaur Premanande Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo She's good. See, Krishna sent us a great harmonious. Haribo. Thank you. And seeing you here reminds me of my best friend, Keshava Bharti Maharaj, who's somewhere reading the Bhagavatam out loud and making the world transcendental, one page at a time. And so, really, coming here to the Dham is about getting our bhajan on. The only auspicity in life and the only way for one to be truly self-determining is to develop one's own bhajan. Means that if we can find the ways and means to put together a practice that is attracting our minds and that we feel compelled to do every single day, and we're looking for opportunities to do it more. That is hearing and chanting, from the bhajans to the chapters, to hearing Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Bhagavad Gita and Sri Upanishad, and chanting Hare Krishna. Then our life begins to transform, and the heart changes by the power of the practice of Krishna consciousness, combined, of course, with audorya, or generosity. Today, when we were waiting for the bus to come, we got images along the way that whenever the bus stopped, the devotees jumped out and started distributing books. And at every stop, every gas station, whenever the traffic stopped completely, I think, the devotees jumped out and started distributing. It's riotous, actually. When we were at the Ultadunga Junction Road the other day, we had the place surrounded. And the word riotous came into my mind. That really, it's an expression of the generosity of Navadvip Dham. Vrindavan is madhurya or sweet, but Navadvip is that sweetness in the vessel. It keeps filling up more and more, and it's so full it overflows, and it's going in every direction. Even more than that, it's being deliberately distributed. So the combination of the two things is irresistible. So now, welcome to the yatra here in Mayapur Dham. We had a really nice start to the yatra in Calcutta, I must say. Was it anybody there? Yeah, what did you think? Turn to somebody else next to you and tell them one impression that you had from the experience in Calcutta. And if somebody wasn't there, you just tell them and they'll share in just a second. So tell them one thing, what was your impression? Did you like it? And what's the one thing that you remembered from that? Go. Now share what the person told you. A few people share. Yes, Navina Prabhu, get him the microphone. Who's the runner? Oh, Madhava Govind is our best microphone runner in India or Canada or America.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
So Madhava Govinda Prabhu was sharing with me that you went to Ultadunga Junction and you went up the same stairs that Prabhupada went up to see his Gurudev, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he was just imagining that if Prabhupada would never gone up those stairs, we wouldn't be here today. So, nice. Those are important stairs.
Yeah.
I mean, the building, I heard it's under construction and it may not look like as much, you know. But for those who know what transpired,
yeah,
it's quite momentous.
The devotee who's restoring it, overseeing it, was so enthusiastic about it from the time he was taking us there that it brought it to life for us. Not that it needs much bringing to life, but somebody was commenting yesterday that hearing about the place was so important because then when we got there, we could really appreciate it more, even though it is in a state of transition. Okay, what else? Other realizations? Who shared what with whom?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Govind Prabhu shared with me the similar place, Ultadunga, but I'll just add one point to that which was very significant when he added. He said Prabhupada went up the stairs and what he heard was one line from his spiritual master which had a sense of the entire mission of the Hare Krishna movement. And by the time Prabhupada walked down, he was a different personality, completely transformed.
Wow.
And he was feeling the same as he was climbing up and coming down, and all the devotees are going through that transformation, actually.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, what else? What did you hear?
So Prabhu shared with me, what's your name, Prabhu?
Sudhir Madhava Das.
Sudhir Madhava Das explained me. Srila Prabhupada, when he was growing up, he went to school and college to get this material education, but his realization is this was not even required. Srila Prabhupada by himself appeared from the spiritual world and he had all the knowledge required. But still he went through this process to demonstrate it's okay to go through this whatever material world we live in and their etiquettes and still can do extraordinary things.
Yeah. He wants to...
Yeah. This was not my religion. When Maharaj said it, I was just conveying what he said.
Go ahead. What was that?
I was just saying that this was not my realization. I was telling him that this is what Maharaj explained to us. That
I see.
An Acharya comes here to show us that we can also navigate through this world through devotional process.
Yeah, and we talked about that when we went to Prabhupada's school, his primary school, and we were imagining Prabhupada walking in and out with his books and sitting at a desk and so forth, and the different phases of life that he went through, even though who knew that he would manifest as the world Acharya, but this is a way in which we can understand that no matter which parts of life we're moving through and what we have to go through at the time, if we maintain our connection with the desire to improve and serve Krishna, it will manifest in due course of time. The material world's no match for a desire for advancement in devotional service. Okay, yes, from this side of the room. Share, share, share. Sharing means caring, according to the Salvation Army.
So I was hearing from Yadurani. Is it Yadurani?
I shared it already before, actually. Yadurani.
Oh, she's already shared it before, but I'll share it again. She was saying that they had quite an interesting start because the driver that was taking them to the hotel didn't speak any English and he didn't seem to know where he was going. And
Great.
It was quite a short journey that ended up taking 2 hours, and it was a little bit challenging, etc., etc. But by the time they got to the hotel and they walked in there, then they all totally felt calm and ready and stress-free. So.
It's not so easy moving around in the material world. If we added up all the various missteps that devotees had getting here, we'd have quite an array of interesting circumstances, missed visas and 2-hour cab rides and things like that. Ekadashi.
Kalindi Prema was sharing that how in the U.S., sometimes you have to really work to convince someone, even 20 minutes to get them to take a book. And here, without even knowing the language, she was getting people to take books, and they just naturally would take them.
All right. Did you like that? Here, comment. It's not so
just
bad,
really
right?
interesting. I'm walking around like, I can't do this. I don't even know how to say hello. How do you say hello? People are just driving by me like I'm crazy, you know. And then they're like, no, just hand them the book. Say, you know, Maha books. Like, you know, just hand them the books. And they'll take it. I was like, sure. So I did. I was handing them the books. And the guy in the car hands me a 100 rupee note. I was like, wow, it worked. It's very cool.
Nothing succeeds like success. And, you know, when you have some of those breakthroughs and you realize some confidence, then I noticed that devotees, I saw the Japanese devotees, they wouldn't get back on the bus. They were so inspired. And I know they don't speak Hindi or Bengali or anything, so. Okay, a couple more. Work with me, people. Okay. 1, 2. Devrata, then Radhamohan Prabhu.
Vinod Govida Prabhu was talking about how he went to the first deities of Srila Prabhupada. I think it's the Radha Govinda temple? Yeah. And you were explaining how the process of bhakti is very simple, and that the Bhagavad Gita is covered by karma and jnana, but in the middle there's a very short chapter about bhakti yoga, and it can be overlooked.
If Bhagavatam.
Yeah, and Bhagavatam in 11th canto.
Yeah, yeah.
And that bhakti is very simple, but it's very powerful at the same time. I appreciated that.
Nice. Radhamohan Prabhu.
I was sharing with Prabhu, but I just wanted to finish that. You also said that meeting was the root of the Hare Krishna movement, because you took us through Srila Prabhupada's home and how Prabhupada had such a strong spiritual environment, his home, Radha Govinda deities, and everything was building up. And it's like the carcel of kerosene, and just that one little interaction with his spiritual master was the flame that just exploded. So
yeah. This is something that comes up in the Bhakti Sandarbha. There's a story about a gentleman who's very engaged in worldly affairs and business and so forth, and one day when he's walking along this street, he hears a sweeper woman call to her daughter and say, now's the time, because come now. And she was just calling her for some ordinary task. And when the man heard that, he took it as, now I'm supposed to surrender in devotional service, and he suddenly changed his course in life. And it's given as an example of the way in which one's contribution to devotional service develops within the heart, and that it fructifies at a certain point, so that one will awaken to more eagerness. A more eagerness will awaken to perform devotional service. This is mentioned in the Shastra and the Jaiva Dharma. Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes from the Brihat Naradiya Purana, a verse that says, by the accumulation of bhakti unmukhi sukriti within the heart, gradually one becomes more and more qualified for devotional service. And at a certain point, shraddha thickens and awakens because of that accumulation. Still we can move a little, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but move a little more, just defrag if you can, and move up a little closer. There's no harm. Great, nice sharing. You know, I realized that I really like driving around on a bus, chanting Harinam, and just looking out at the Calcutta, thinking about how Prabhupada walked there. It was a very sublime feeling floating along on that bus, hearing the holy names. The kirtan was really nice, coming and going. Thanks to the kirtaniyas. And it was all cream. Calcutta was all cream. No heavy austerities there, just cream all the way. Didn't you feel like that? Unbelievable. Yeah. I asked the Japanese devotees on the way down in the elevator, I said, you know, did you like it? And they said, totemo. That means a lot. Totemo. Okay, so we began our theme in Calcutta with gratitude, cultivating gratitude. And we talked about how gratitude is for a person. Everything's personal, because everything comes from a person. Everything is a person, ultimately, because it's all part of Krishna. And the more we realize gratitude for what we've been given, and the more we express it, the more we advance in devotional service. And so we were thinking about the ways in which we've been given an opportunity to enter the path of devotional service, and also now the opportunity to enter into the holy dham, and expressing gratitude for that. So now let's sing the song, O He Vaishnava Thakur, because this is a song in which Bhaktivinoda Thakur expresses his gratitude to the Vaishnava, because it's the Vaishnava that reveals to us the holy dham. So the translation goes like this: O Venerable Vaishnava Thakur, O Ocean of Mercy, be merciful to this servant of yours and purify me with the shade of your lotus feet. Your lotus feet I humbly hold. What did you hear in the first line? Don't read it, just tell me what you heard. All right, Openberg. What? Be merciful to me. Why would, give her the mic, why would somebody need mercy, do you suppose?
Because this material world is a very difficult thing to conquer or even to tackle. So we need somebody at a higher level with the power to help us.
Yeah, there's a bewildering array of reversals of fortune here in the material world. Just on Monday, I checked in with the kids back at ISV, because every Sunday I get to sit with them and do some bhajan on Sunday night. So it was Monday morning for us and Sunday for them. And I asked them, I started by asking them their realizations, and they apparently were dialed into the news, and they were saying that they were just feeling kind of stunned by the way the material world moves, that people can suddenly die, and that there are all kinds of threats from pandemics and so forth. There's a lot of gloomy kind of news. Of course, news agencies tend to pick out the gloomiest and present it on the front, because if it bleeds, it leads. But one doesn't have to try very hard. I was thinking that these things are always going on. And when Navina Prabhu was talking about the epidemic of this wonderful new virus that gone on the loose somewhere, and he was saying the reports are only like 150 people died or something like that. And he was saying, well, that many people die every day, you know, misusing their toothbrush or something like that all over the world. But the material world's a very dangerous place, and it's very oppressive. So feeling the need for mercy is very important. Okay, and the next line says, by helping me control the 6 urges and purifying me of the 6 faults, bestow upon your servant the 6 good qualities. 6, 6, and 6. O Master, please give me the 6 kinds of holy association. I have sat down here hoping to have your company. And of course, in the Shastra it is said that coming to a holy place doesn't mean just looking around. It means to get association with devotees and to hear and chant together. That's the essence of a pilgrimage, really. Then, when we go around and see these holy places, we remember and we sing the songs of the great acharyas, and in that way we have communion, and we also have communion with all the devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness, all of you. And in one purport, Prabhupada writes how Narottam Das Thakur considers anyone who is engaged in the Sankirtan movement to be a Nitya Siddha devotee. He said not that just the associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when they came 500 years ago were Nitya Siddhas, but anyone who's entered into the Sankirtan movement. And so that kind of intensive experience that we'll have over the next few days of always being with the devotees and always keeping the transcendental vibration going is like a heavy rain of good fortune. And oftentimes there are droughts in our life. Is that possible? Yes. Yeah, so the way the earth deals with that is it develops aquifers. Underneath the earth there's reservoirs of water, and they get filled up by heavy rains. And then when the drought comes, you can still pull water out of the ground. So coming to the Dham and sitting together here in chant and going to the various holy places, we're putting water in that reservoir so we can draw on it at any time. Alone, I do not find the strength to chant the holy name of Hari. Please be merciful and, blessing me with a drop of faith, bestow on me the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Krishna is yours, and you can give him to me, for such is your power. This wretch is simply running behind you, crying out, Krishna, Krishna. O hey, Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Dasa Karuna Kori. Hey, Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Dasa Karuna Kori. Oh hey, Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Dasa Karuna Kori. Oh hey, oh hey, Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Dasa Karuna Kori. Oh hey, Diya Parachaya Shoro he amai Tomara charana dhori. Diyapadachaya Shodohe Amaya Tomara Charana Thori. Chaya Bhega Domi Chaya Dosha Shodhi Chaya Guna Deho Dase. Chaya Bhega Domi Chaya Dosha Shodhi Chaya Guna Deho Dase. Chaya Satsanga Deho he amare bosashi sangerashe. Chaya Satsanga Deho he amare Chaya Satsanga Deho he amare bosachi sangerashe. Ekaki amar nahi pai bolo Harinama Sankirtane. Ekaki amar nahi pai bolo Harinama Sankirtane. Tumi kripa kori shraddha bindu diya deho Krishna nama dhane. Tumi kripa kori shraddha bindu diya deho Krishna nama dhane. Krishna se tomar Krishna dite paro Tomara Shakti Ache. Krishna se tomar Krishna dite paro Tomara Shakti Ache. Amito Kanga Krishna Krishna Boli Daitava Pache Pache. Amito Kanga Krishna Krishna Boli Dayatava Pache Pache. he Vaishnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Idase Karuna Kodi. O he Vaishnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Idase Karuna Kori. Doyara Sagara Idase Karuna Kori. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Or Bhakta Vrinda. So we're talking about cultivating gratitude. And in this next reading from the Adi Lila, 4th chapter, 34th verse, with verse and purport, I'm going to speak about, or Srila Prabhupada is going to speak about, and we can discuss the point about an appreciating capacity. Every living entity has capacity to appreciate. And if you think about it, ontologically, what are we? We're little appreciators. In fact, you could wear a t-shirt, born to appreciate, or a bumper sticker, because that's really why we're created. Eko Bahu Sham, the one became many. Why? So there'd be somebody to appreciate the one. Because what's one without appreciators around him? And isn't it a nice job to have, just to be an appreciator? In fact, on your immigration form, it says occupation, you just put appreciator. They'll say you could come in, you could, well, you're welcome. Even without visa, you can come. If you become an appreciator, then you'll be welcome everywhere, and you'll also be happy. And there's always, there's unlimited qualities to appreciate in Krishna, as Brahma says, when he's realizing how many qualities Krishna has, that, you know, if the scientists got together and they tried to count all the stars and all the grains of sands, even if they were able to count them, it still wouldn't equal your qualities, Krishna, because your qualities are greater than that and they're always expanding. So there's, even in this world, Krishna gives us in the Bhagavad Gita ways in which we can appreciate him through his vibhutis. Like, what are some of the vibhutis he mentions in the Bhagavad Gita that are really memorable? Taste of water. The taste of water, yeah. Krishna's taste of water. One second. Yeah, what else? Greater than the greatest, yeah. I know those in this world who say they're the greatest, and you know, people or attain some great quality. The ability in man, that's another one that he brings up. And we find that those who excel in various areas, we tend to appreciate them, and we have a place for them in our heart, whether they're musicians or athletes or writers or whatever they may. What about in the 10th chapter? What else? Fragrance of the earth, yeah, from the 7th chapter. Strength of the strong, 7th chapter. How about the 10th chapter? Thanks for the shark. Who said shark? That's what we were waiting for. Of fishes, I am the shark. Of aquatics, I'm the shark. What other thing from the 10th chapter of Gita? Huh? Himalayas, yeah. If immovable things. Yes, Sridham. I can't hear him. What did he say? Huh? Banyan tree, yeah. In fact, when we were in Vrindavan, we saw on a particular day that there were a bunch of village women. They came onto the property there and they were worshiping the banyan tree. It's one of the worshipable items that Rupa Goswami mentions in his process of devotional service, the limbs of bhakti, appreciating the vibhutis of Krishna. Okay, there's a lot to appreciate. You could just make a long list of things to appreciate. And Queen Kunti says, Shrinvanti Gayanti Grananti Sadhava. Grananti means to appreciate. So if you spend time appreciating the devotional service that other people are doing, that's a thing. You'll actually make advancement in devotional service for that. So here's the purport in verse. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham deham ashrita bhajate tadrishi krida ya shrutva tat parobhavet. Krishna manifests his eternal human-like form and performs his pastimes to show mercy to the devotees. Having heard such pastimes, one should engage in service to him. Let's say it all together. Krishna manifests his eternal human-like form and performs his pastimes to show mercy to the devotees. Having heard such pastimes, one should engage in service to him. Would you like to hear the purport? Yes. Okay. Purport. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-36. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable expansions of his transcendental form who eternally exists in this spiritual world. This material world is only a perverted reflection of the spiritual world where everything is manifested without inebriety. There everything is in its original existence, free from the domination of time. Time cannot deteriorate or interfere with the conditions in the spiritual world, where different manifestations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the recipients of the worship of different living entities in their constitutional spiritual positions. In the spiritual world, all existence is unadulterated goodness. The goodness found in the material world is contaminated by the modes of passion and ignorance. The saying that the human form of life is the best position for devotional service has its special significance because only in this form can a living entity revive his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The human form is considered the highest state in the cycle of the species of life in the material world. If one takes advantage of this highest kind of material form, one can regain his position of devotional service to the Lord. Incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear in all the species of life, although this is inconceivable to the human brain. The Lord's pastimes are differentiated according to the appreciating capacity of the different types of bodies of the living entities. The Supreme Lord bestows the most merciful benediction upon human society when he appears in his human form. It is then that humanity gets the opportunity to engage in different kinds of eternal service to the Lord. Special natural appreciation of the descriptions of a particular pastime of Godhead indicates the constitutional position of a living entity. Adoration, servitorship, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love are the 5 primary relationships with Krishna. The highest perfectional stage of the conjugal relationship enriched by many sentiments, gives the maximum relishable mellow to the devotee. The Lord appears in different incarnations as a fish, tortoise, and boar, as Parashuram, Lord Rama, Buddha, and so on, to reciprocate the different appreciations of living entities in different stages of evolution. The conjugal relationship of amorous love, called Parakya Rasa, is the unparalleled perfection of love exhibited by Lord Krishna and his devotees. A class of so-called devotees known as Sahajias try to imitate the Lord's pastimes, although they have no understanding of the amorous love in his expansions of pleasure potency. Everyone okay? You can hear all right? Okay. Their superficial imitation can create havoc on the path for the advancement of one's spiritual relationships with the Lord. Material sexual indulgence can never be equated with spiritual love, which is in unadulterated goodness. The activities of the Sahajias simply lower one deeper into the material contamination of the senses and mind. Krishna's transcendental pastimes display eternal servitorship to Adhoksaja, the Supreme Lord, who is beyond all conception through material senses. Materialistic conditioned souls do not understand the transcendental exchanges of love, but they like to indulge in sense gratification in the name of devotional service. The activities of the Supreme Lord can never be understood by irresponsible persons who think the pastimes of Radha and Krishna to be ordinary affairs. The rasa dance is arranged by Krishna's internal potency, Yogamaya, and it is beyond the grasp of the materially affected person. Trying to throw mud into transcendence with their perversity, the Sahajias misinterpret the sayings Tat Pratvena Nirmalam and Tat Paro Bhavet. By misinterpreting Tadrishi Krida, they want to indulge in sex while pretending to imitate Lord Krishna. But one must actually understand the imports of the words through the intelligence of the authorized Goswamis. Srila Narottam Das Thakur, in his prayers to the Goswamis, has explained his inability to understand such spiritual affairs. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoi Beakuti Kabe Habe Bhujabashe Jugala Piriti. When I shall be eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental love affairs of Radha and Krishna. In other words, unless one is trained under the disciplic succession of the Goswamis, one cannot understand Radha and Krishna. The conditioned souls are naturally averse to understanding the spiritual existence of the Lord. And if they try to know the transcendental nature of the Lord's pastimes while they remain absorbed in materialism, they are sure to blunder like the Sahajias. We'll take a few reflections. What did you hear?
I was just admiring the fact that how Krishna incarnates in all the species of the life, all the species which are there possible. And this is also mentioned in the Divinity and Divine Service, where he says that he incarnates in various species according to the desires of...
Say the verse.
Bhavyata eva satvena lokanvaya loka bhavana lila avatar anurato devatiryan naradishu. So
Devatiryan naradishu. Comes in human forms, animal forms, yes.
And demigods.
And demigods, Devatiryan naradishu. Nice. Nagar Kirtan. And then to Radha Mohan Prabhu.
Well, you'd mentioned it already before you read the purport, the appreciation capacity, and just how Prabhupada was explaining that the appreciation capacity is the most exhibited in the human form, and that it's just a very interesting meditation that, and it's kind of almost self-evident, one can experience themselves, that the more that they are in a mood of appreciation, you can feel your consciousness is expanding and evolving. It's kind of obvious. At the same time, it's also not really measurable. So you can't really measure, you can't really tell somebody, you can't tell how much appreciation somebody has maybe just by looking at them. But it's an internal thing of the consciousness. And it's very scientific how Prabhupada's explaining that animals, more indirectly he's saying that the animal appreciation capacity is less than the human being. a human being has the highest capacity for appreciation. It's just a very interesting meditation because it's also very relatable, because everybody understands what it's like to appreciate something, and they've had that experience, and how enlivening and how much of a growth kind of experience that is.
We can't get a meter that could judge how much appreciation.
We could try.
We could try for
we'll
that.
see if it's on Amazon.
Same thing? Okay. Now here, yes, all the way back to Shyam Bhakti in center field.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I just read today in my Bhagavatam reading how Prabhupada was saying that gratitude and appreciation is kind of a synonym. Like if I'm grateful to something, then if I'm not able to appreciate it, it's not able to connect. For example, if I'm very grateful, yeah, the sun is there, but if I'm not able to appreciate its qualities, like it's giving me warmth and light, it's of not much use. And similarly, Krishna gives us a chance to appreciate him more by performing his pastimes. So that I can appreciate and be more grateful by hearing and appreciating his pastime.
Good points. Yeah, the more we hear about Krishna and his qualities, the more we feel gratitude as well, because we realize, for instance, that we hear Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidhati Kaman. Krishna's maintaining every living entity. If we take a look and see how actually Krishna's kindly maintaining me every moment, as well as all of the living beings, it's actually really amazing and charming at the same time how Krishna takes care of all the living beings. You see, they're all getting their nice little meal according to what their taste is. He provides facility for everybody, and but to speak of his personal qualities, yes. Now here's a few points about expanding one's appreciating capacity. So one of them is mentioned in Queen Kunti's prayers about being akinchana. So sometimes I notice that there's a tendency in the material conception to appreciate something for a while and then lose appreciation for it. One good example is the iPhone. When it first came out, people really appreciated it, gave it good reviews, just as being an engineering marvel. Do you remember that? And then now I notice that nobody appreciates it anymore, no matter how many new features it has. People always say, that's not enough. And one thing is you could run a small airline off one phone. So, like, how's it not enough? But now the appreciation has gone down, and people just kind of get tired of it. Is that all? Is that all you got? You can't do any better than that. This is something else to amaze me with. So one of the principles of appreciation is to be akinchana. And that means start from nothing. Realize that I don't have anything. When I think I have something, Queen Kunti says, then it's really hard to appreciate Krishna and his mercy. Janmaishvari Shruta Shribir Edamanamada Puman Naivarha Yavidatum Vai Twama Kinchana Gocharam. If I'm already full, thinking like I have something special already, then that appreciation of capacity shrinks. But if I take the akinchana principle and I think I really don't have anything, and I'm fully dependent on Krishna at every moment, is that possible? Say yes, because it's reality. It's reality. The idea that I actually have something, Queen Kunti said, this is some kind of illusory intoxication type thing. You're just thinking you have something. You really don't have anything. And if I can be in that state of akinchana, and it's not a matter of conjuring anything, it's a matter of realizing, what is my existential situation? I really don't have anything. I'm fully dependent on Krishna at every minute. So I once heard this interview with this music critic, and she said that she was a music snob. She was a critic, and she was good at it. She'd listen to music and then pick it apart and say they were mostly classical music. And of course, that's the only thing that she appreciated. Everything else was garbage. And then she had a near-death experience, and she left her body and then came back in. Anybody ever do that? Even come close? Yes. Yes, it happened to me once. I swallowed a lozenge the wrong way. My father turned me upside down. I mean, I appreciated breath after that, because I was just thinking la-di-da-di-da, and then I swallowed a lozenge, and it went down the windpipe, and I couldn't breathe. And then I got my father's attention. He picked me up by the ankles. I was a kid, and he, like that, and the lozenge came out. And then I could breathe again, and I realized that breath is kind of nice. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. And so this lady said she had this near-death experience, and she came back, and she said after that, even elevator music she appreciates. You know, the stuff you hear in elevator, and we go into the supermarket. So that kind of stuff, she's like, well, I appreciate it. So it's really a state of mind when you're a kinchana, when you realize I don't have anything, then you can appreciate more. So this is a cultivation. Shraddha, were you going to say something? Go ahead.
I was just thinking about the akinchana concept that you said, and then the song that we did just now, the Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, where the artist is recognizing and says Amito Kangal, you know.
Means?
So that I don't have anything.
Amito Kangal. Everyone say it. Amito Kangal. Yeah, if you really are bereft, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you come to the realization that you're really bereft, and that's why he's running after his spiritual master, the Vaishnava Thakur, like that.
Yeah, so if you have something already and there's not much impetus, you should be hungry, humble. So akinchana is something to cultivate, to be in this flow of appreciation. And then we have remembering that the edge means that most learning experiences happen when we go beyond our comfort zone. Because in the comfort zone, there's a tendency to compartmentalize everything and be satisfied with the status quo, not take any risk. But when we take risks for Krishna, and for instance, all of you coming here to the Dham, it's kind of a risk economically, isn't it? Because you have to leave your job. Physically, it seems like a risk. If you took Air India, it's definitely a risk. No. I don't mean to criticize. I love Air India. Medically, you know, there's all kinds of considerations. You're going to a foreign environment, new kinds of pathogens running around, and there's also just a sense of sacrificing your own comfort. That you know where you're going to end up when you travel. And the word travel comes from the word travail, which if you search it back again, it comes from an instrument of torture. You know, when you're at home, supposedly you get what you want. And when you're traveling, you get what you get, whatever's provided. And so that's kind of a risk also. But that's where you actually learn and grow and able to develop that appreciating capacity more. In devotional service, if we take risks by sacrificing our comfort to do a little bit more, then we can develop our appreciating capacity a little bit more as well. So developing gratitude for the Dham and remembering that it's a gift that we've been given, and also remembering that life is a gift too. It's not a guarantee. There's a sense of entitlement that I can develop and think that I deserve whatever I have, I deserve this life, I deserve health, I deserve everything, or I deserve position, acknowledgement, and so forth. These kill the appreciating capacity. Because if I realize that I'm not entitled to anything, it's all a gift. Every day I have is a gift, and everything that I've been given is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed at all. Therefore, if I'm able to live in that moment of appreciation, and so here in the Dham, we can appreciate that. Well, I'll let you say, what are some of the ways we can appreciate the Dham, being grateful for coming to the Dham? Say more about that. He said service, so what do you mean by that?
Through service.
Through service means?
Well, I found that when we feel like we lack gratitude, when we feel like we lack appreciation, when we put ourselves in a position of trying to serve others, particularly the devotees, then there's a natural appreciation that just arises in the heart. It's almost such a reciprocation that comes naturally. And when we put ourselves in the position of selflessness, selfless service, gratitude is very natural. Because it's aligned with our original
That's
nature.
very practical. We can apply that. Any other thoughts? Yes, Prabhu, you had a thought.
See, while coming from Kolkata to here by the taxi or whatever, like, and we were going through this all kind of slowness or like bumps and up stoppage and everything, weather, and I was just thinking it was so inconvenient. Then my wife said, suddenly, she was sitting behind and she said, think about your Guru Maharaj. There was nothing here. And he established this place on the Srila Prabhupada's instructions. How did he did it? And my whole thing just went down and I said, oh, I think I'm in much better position right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, be grateful for those who have revealed the Dham to us and given us the facility to enter into it in the first place. The histories go back. This was just a field. Tamal Krishna Maharaj came here and made some special deal. Prabhupada was waiting to hear what could have been accomplished in making the contract, and he finally came back and said, we got the land. But it was a hard fought. Every facility we have, for instance, we were just at the temple in Calcutta on 1 Albert Road, and the facility there, if you go back through the history, it was many hard-fought battles in order to get the place, to maintain it, to have it. You can take that for granted that every place has had a long history of devotees who have sacrificed their lives to make it available for us. And so we can appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to read you just a short piece about entering the Dham. This is prayer to enter the Dham from the Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. And it goes like this. O Navadvip Dham, show favor on me and appear in my heart so that I may be delivered. Please repeat. O Navadvip. You can't do the whole thing, can you? Go ahead. All right, good. I just do it part and part. O Navadvip Dham, show favor on me and appear in my heart so that I may be delivered. O Praudhamaya. That's the covering of the Dham. Protecting goddess. Please be genuinely merciful. For you are the only hope to cross over the obstacles due to ignorance. Vrida Shiva, protector of the Dham, be compassionate on me. Let the transcendental Dham be revealed to my eyes. O residents of Navadvip and devotees of Gauranga, put your feet upon my head, rascal that I am. Everyone, please hear this prayer of mine so that I will quickly attain the feet of Sri Chaitanya. Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. We were just in South India. We went down to Bangalore to do some book distribution seminars, and we went to several of the temples around Melkote. And in some of them, they have those who had helped to construct the temples, they made images of themselves, and they're on the ground. They're carved into the stone where all the devotees walk in. So that, of course, if you're not looking, you just step right on them. If you know that they're there and what they are, I was careful not to step on them because I knew who they were. But they put themselves there intentionally because they wanted the dust of the feet of the devotees to fall on them when they came in. And this is the mood of entering the Dham, is praying that please let the Dham enter my heart. And it's one of the 5 most important processes of devotional service. Out of 64, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami to live in the Dham is one of the 5 most important aspects of devotional service. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if you can't live in the Dham physically, then you can live there within your heart and mind. And so while we're here, we're praying to develop our appreciating capacity, the gratitude for those who have revealed the Dham to us. Navina Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you. I'm also appreciating Srila Prabhupada's poetic purport, how he goes from stating that Krishna appears in all the different life forms, and according to our appreciating capacity, we can realize this more and more. And then he also gives the word of caution about the Sahajiyas who are trying to throw mud into transcendence by making everything mundane and seeing their own animalistic desires as something spiritual. So Prabhupada is giving us the goal and the process, and at the same time he's showing us where we should be cautious and careful not to take things in a mundane way, because otherwise we may get cheated.
That's a really good point in that purport. I mean, Sahajiya really means to take something easily, cheaply. Just take it for granted. And that's the opposite. And so the point is, you can do devotional service, you can go into the Dham, you can be practicing devotional service, but if you don't have the right attitude about it, then you'll be in the dark. Yeah, and that's how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur talks about this. He said after a long dark night, the light in the morning is very encouraging. And if you're in the desert, then a glass of water becomes, the most important thing in your life. And so to develop that hunger, that taste through gratitude, through service, is really important. And so one could come to the Dham and in the wrong attitude just run roughshod over, the personalities here and develop a cantankerous kind of attitude and make offenses. So best to enter in a mood of gratitude that somehow or other I've been allowed to enter this place. And now we'll have a little kirtan. It's good we have a backup battery, because otherwise this microphone would go dead too. When all else fails, and it will, chant. Okay, so let's sing a song of gratitude from the songbook. Let's sing Shuddha Bhakata Charanarenu. It says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami that the devotees are doctors. They're Vaijas. And when you meet the doctor, like traditionally doctors have a little black bag they carry around. They have a stethoscope and a thermometer and a few things. So what is it that the devotees have with them? They have, bead bag, yeah. That's true. That's a good one. They have a bead bag. And so anyway, the things, the medicine that they bring, he said instructions and hymns. Mantras and instructions, how to work the mantras. These are the two things especially that the devotee doctors have. And Definitely a bead bag. Okay, what page is it? 79. So this is a beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, appreciating all the aspects of devotional service. And I'll read through it. The dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees. Enthusiastic devotional service and service to the pure devotees of the highest order are the roots of the creeper of devotion. The holy days like Ekadashi and Janmashtami are the mother of devotion for those devotees who respect them. Let the holy places of Krishna's pastimes be my places of worship and bless me. May I always visit the holy places associated with the Leela of Lord Chaitanya and his devotees. When I hear the sound of the Mridanga, in my heart I always desire to join in Kirtan. And when I hear the bona fide songs describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, my heart dances in ecstasy. Whenever I see the transcendental Sri Vigrahas of Radha and Krishna, I am in bliss. For by taking their lordship's prasad, we can conquer over the material elements. One day, while performing devotional practices, I saw my house transformed into Goloka Vrindavan. When I take the Charnamrita of the deity, I see the holy Ganges waters that come from the feet of Lord Vishnu, and my bliss knows no bounds. By seeing the Tulsi tree, my heart feels joy, and Lord Madhava Krishna is also satisfied. When I eat the prasad favored by Lord Chaitanya, it is a new life's experience. Lord Chaitanya was very fond of a green vegetable preparation called shak. And there is another song in this book that tells of the amazing effects of this type of prasad. Do you want to sing that song sometime? Yes. Say yes. Because, this is devotional service. Talk about simple. They're having prasadam, and he's eating sak, and he goes into ecstasy. And then he starts saying, this is the effects of these that you're going to get in devotional service for the different kinds of sak that you're eating. That's real enjoyment. To be around Mahaprabhu and his devotees, and you're just taking prasad in it. And he writes, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in one of the prasadam prayers, that what the yogis attain after 10,000 years of meditation, we will attain in one sitting by taking prasadam.
In a traditional Vaishnava meal, the shak is normally the appetizer to the rest of the meal. It's the first thing you take.
Wow.
In the beginning of the meal, it's ecstasy.
And you're already gone. Yeah. Bhaktivinoda concludes by saying, whosoever attains the stage of enthusiasm for these devotional practices will be supremely blissful wherever he may be. Shuddha bhakata charanarenu bhajana anukula. Bolo. Bhakata seva paramasiri na prem brahmamula paramasiri premalati karamu madhava titi bhakti janani jatane palana kori. Krishna basati basati boli paramadare bori. Gaurama Jeshabashtani Korolo Brahmana Range. Sheshabashtana Herebo Ami Prayani Bhakata Shange. Mridanga Baja Shunete Mana Abashara Sada Jache. Mridanga Baja. The Mridanga enters the heart. Gaurbihita kirtana shuni anande hridoya nache. Jugala murti daki amora parama ananda hoya. Prasara Sheba Korite Hoya Sakala Prapancha Joya. Jedina Grihe Bhajana Deki Grihete Goloka Bhaya. Charana Sidhu Dekiya Ganga Sukhana Sima Paya. Tulasi Deki Juraya Prana Madhava Toshani Jani. Gaura Priya Shaksevane Jivana Sartakamani. Bhakati Vinod Krishna Bhajane Anakula Paya Jaha. Krishna Bhajane Pratidibase Parama Sukhe Swikara Koro Yetaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All the Bhaktivinoda Thakur songs are instant hits, and they're from the spiritual world.
Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, hey, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman.